I've been thinking of making this channel for a while. This was not supposed to be my first video. I spent the Halloween weekend in New York City and I did some street interviews with a couple of people in Washington Square Park, trying to find out who they were going to vote for and why. And unfortunately I had some bad audio quality, so couldn't really upload any of that, but I'm sure pretty much everybody knows, if you're watching this probably, you know that the new mayor for New York City is Zohran Mamdani. And I feel pretty, I'm not in New York, but I feel pretty defeated, I guess is the word. So I'm making this video to kind of talk about what is probably going to happen to New York. New York has an energy that is just so alive, and right now I kind of weep for New York City. Now, I do have some notes here because I have a lot that I want to say about this, so just bear with me. When I was doing my interviews, it seemed pretty split between Mamdani and Cuomo, and I only had two people who said that they would possibly vote for Curtis Sliwa. Now, the reasons why people wanted to vote for Cuomo were very mixed, and the reasons why people wanted to vote for Mamdani were all the same. All people want is free stuff. So the free housing, free buses, getting rid of the police, people want that. And they don't seem to be concerned about how this is going to be implemented. And I say that because whenever I would ask them, what has he said with his policies to make this happen, nobody knows. More than one person admitted that they get their information from TikTok. Now, there's people who seem to really overlook the fact that Mamdani is a Muslim. A lot of people seem to be concerned about the fact that he's a communist, and they have every right to be concerned about that. I'm mostly concerned about, and what this video is mostly about, is the fact that he is a Muslim. Going back to what people want, what they will get is very different, because what's happening is, little by little, Islamists or Muslims, however you want to call them, they are playing the long game. It is a part of the Muslim religion to conquer the world. And if you look at London or Dearborn or I think it's Hamtramck or the little place, I can't remember where Omar Fetta, is it Minneapolis? I don't remember. But little by little they are taking over. And so what all of these voters want with all the free stuff, which by the way, most of them are under the age of 30, the ones who said that they would vote for Mamdani, what they will get is very different. And so that being Sharia. Now, there's more than one way that they're going to implement this. because they can't really use our laws, because we have anti-Sharia laws, and we have a separation of church and state. But one way that they will be able to implement this is by defunding the police. Now, I'll try to find it, but there is a post that I saw a couple of months ago of Muslim neighborhood patrols. And this is how they enforce Sharia. Now, Mamdani has made a comment that violence is a social construct, that it's not an actual thing, which I find interesting, because if it's a social construct, then you can't complain about violence being done towards the people of Gaza. And what will happen is he wants to bring social workers instead of police. So in Islam, a man is allowed to beat his wife. Now, what action can she take if there's no police and if there's no such thing as violence? What is she supposed to do? Nothing. Now, this is one way that they implement Sharia law. One thing that he wants to do is implement free injection sites, so people can just go and do drugs out in the open. Now, weed is already legal in New York, and New York seems to be doing just fine with that. But when we're just openly glorifying like heavy drugs, it just kind of makes you wonder, why does he want to keep us drugged up? Okay. One reason would be that drugged up people are easier to manipulate. We're easier to take over. So, of course, he wants to implement that. He also wants to decriminalize prostitution. So, what does that mean? In terms of Islam, well, there is a part of Islam where men are allowed to have up to 4 wives, but they're also allowed to do something called mukta marriage. And what this is a temporary marriage where if a man wants to marry a woman, he can name a price, or she can name a price, and then they agree upon how long they're married, and then when they're done, he pays her. What does this sound like to you? Prostitution, right? So, yeah, of course, he's gonna make it easier for men to do this. And this is not a good sign for society to have something like this going on. Places where prostitution has been decriminalized, sex trafficking of women and girls has gone up significantly. So, is this what New Yorkers wanted? Are New Yorkers even aware of this? It seems like if you get your news from TikTok, you probably didn't hear about this. Another aspect that really stands out to me with him being a Muslim is Muslims don't really like dogs. So when I was in New York, there's dogs everywhere. People bringing their dogs in the stores, on the subway, just out and about everywhere. So what's going to happen when they start creating these dog-free zones that they already have in Europe, in London? What are people going to do then? It seems like people really haven't educated themselves enough, or maybe they just don't want to listen to people who are sounding the alarm about Islam, about the Muslim takeover. I guess they'll find out soon enough. Now, when I was in New York on Friday, the Friday before I left, I remember walking towards the subway, and I'm hearing from a car speaker, extremely loud, like when you think of somebody blasting rap music and it's really loud and you can barely even think. That's how this was. But it wasn't rap music, it was the Islamic call to prayer. And what I noticed is that everybody else in the neighborhood seemed to be desensitized to it. So again, with Mamdani being a Muslim, what's going to happen at 5:30 in the morning? Is there going to be a call to prayer 5 times a day? People are going to have to hear that. I didn't even want to hear it while I was walking by it. So, New Yorkers, do you even know what you voted for? When you go to videos about Zoran, or even videos about October 7th and what's going on in Israel, you can scroll through the comments and you will see that there are a couple of comments from Muslims, and most of them are really just nasty, evil-spirited comments. But I did take a screenshot of 2 that really just put this sickness in the pit of my stomach, because this is what is going on. This is something bigger that I don't think that people are really aware of. So I'm gonna read these out to you. Now, keep in mind that Mamdani got into politics through the issue of Palestine, through Students for Justice in Palestine. And his main goal is to create more resistance fighters, okay? He wants to use politics as a weapon. And so these are some of the comments that echo that. This is a user, it's just probably a fake user, I don't know, BMYU1CT. Quote, "We are watching from Islamabad, Pakistan, hoping he wins, because we're all coming to New York very soon. Please build more mosques for us and freeze the rent. We love the idea of free transportation too. This is heaven for us. We love Mamdani." Okay. All right. Second one that I took a screenshot of, by Kurz Ad Cool 8470. My love. The Zionist regime, Jewish capital, is moving its wealth and factories to China. I don't know how accurate that is, but after this move is complete, we will unleash a massive civil war in America. Now its paving stones are being laid. There will be no place called America. The United States has expired. And that comment was left on the, I think it's called Stand With Us. It's a channel that talks about the conflict in Gaza right now. And why did this person write this? The post was about one of the identified hostage bodies, and this is what they decided to write. So these are the people that are on his side. What's going to happen when Mamdani just lets these people into the city? You're going to have a London 2.0. You're going to have a Dearborn 2.0. It's no longer a silent invasion. We're not under a silent invasion. They're saying it out loud. They're not hiding it. But for some reason, people don't want to pay attention. They want to believe this lie that Islam is a religion of peace. I don't know how you can fall for that, but I guarantee you that the people who wrote comments like that and the people who are silently waiting for America to fall, they threw a party once he was elected because we've all fallen for a lie. What people don't understand is that in Islam, they are allowed to lie. I'll make another video later, but there is one main lie that they are allowed to do called taqiyya, okay? And they're allowed to lie if it advances jihad, if it helps Islam to grow. So I guess the people of New York just weren't aware, or maybe they just didn't want to believe that this could be a lie. They wanted free stuff. But when you have a little life experience, which, like I said, most of these people are under the age of 30, you know that if something is too good to be true, it usually is. And that's definitely the case here. I noticed that along with the taqiyya, Mamdani has a speech pattern when he gives his speeches that's very similar to Chris Hedges, who's another communist, famous communist. And he likes to use the word crisis a lot. So, crisis of authoritarianism. This is what I've heard him say over and over again. Crisis of affordable housing. Crisis of whatever. You can go and listen to his speeches, and he'll make everything seem like it's just so catastrophic, and he's got the solution by making everything free. And if you know anything about the history of Iran, there was something similar that happened where communists fell in line with the Islamists, and what happened? The Islamists killed the communists. And now you can see what is the state of Iran now. I don't want that to happen to New York. I love New York. A lot of people hate it. They think it's just a liberal junkyard, but New York is amazing. It is the financial capital of the United States. And we can't just sit back or laugh or just take this lightly. Where do we go from here? Well, one thing that we need to do is trust in God, okay? I always remember the Serenity Prayer, and it does help. We also just need to start speaking up. We need to take responsibility for what's happening in our communities, and don't let something like this happen where we live, okay? Luckily, Governor Abbott is paying attention, but it's not just the liberals who are holding the door open for this type of ideology to seep in. It's also naive and ignorant Christians and people who think, yeah, Islam is just another one of our Abrahamic faiths, and they're just like us. They worship the same God as us, but they don't. And I will continue to make videos about this topic, but right now I just needed to get this out, and I really hope that it's not as bad as I'm thinking it will be. But if London is anything to learn from, then unfortunately it will get pretty bad. So the people of New York, I just hope that you'll learn your lesson. And by that I don't mean anything vindictive. I just hope that you'll gain wisdom from this. And for everyone else, we just need to pray for this country. May God have mercy on us.